What's up, everybody? This is Peter again for Sports Hot Rumors and Debates. How are you guys? Guys, I really want to talk about, I'm a diehard Memphis Grizzly fan, and I want to talk about the Grizzlies. And I've been a Grizzly fan for over 20-something years, maybe like 23 years, and I'm loyal to a fault. I'm a Grizzly, Diamondback, Arizona Cardinal, and New Jersey Devil fan, right? And the Syracuse Hornets. But I am a diehard fan of these teams. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies, and for you NBA fans, or if you know, like a real NBA fan, Memphis Grizzlies were the shit back in the day, right? When they had Marc Gasol and they had Zebo, they had Mike Miller, they had Mike Conley, Tony Allen. This was a team that was so tough to beat. And the only reason we ran into the toughest Spur team, then we ran into the toughest freaking OKC team that time when it was the Durant, Westbrook, and Harden. Even Reggie Jackson off the bench was a pain in the ass, right back in the day. And then you would run into the Warrior teams. So we were always right there. We had such a good team and we just fell short. Then, fast forward to years later, and the Memphis Grizzlies lucked out. We lucked out by getting moved up to second in the draft and getting Ja Morant. That was, without a question, probably, it's a franchise-changing draft, okay? So now that you get this guy, you see how before all this stuff happened, you see where Memphis was going and how good Memphis could be. You give credit to, the coaching staff and the GM for just making some moves. I know they don't have a lot of money and they don't spend, but they did some good things. The Memphis Grizzlies always has besides Mike Miller and like Battier back in the day, always had a shooting problem. Always. We never had a guy who can really be that scorer. So if you remember, even back in the day, we would have to get it down to Zebo, really work hard for our 2 points with Gasol, or just Conley would have to drive, just get a flow. It was really hard. Tony Allen couldn't shoot, remember. So we really had to get in there to get some points, but while the other teams would just come down and gun a three, and it was really difficult for us to compete. So now the Grizzlies, when you have a guy like Ja, and you have a team that Jaren Jackson, these guys that you can build around, you got to spend money. And the Memphis Grizzlies are not spending money. And come look at their record this year of being 0-5. And I'm going to explain to you why they're 0-5. The first things first. I said this, and people can say whatever they want, but no disrespect to Derrick Rose. Right? I know the guy was fantastic when he was younger. But let's stop this. He is not the guy to replace Tyus Jones. Tyus Jones was criminally underrated. Nobody even can imagine what he did for the Memphis Grizzlies. You don't even know how many times Ja was hurt and he saved our ass. You don't know how many times Ja was having a bad game and he came off the bench and started it. He was so brilliant with the Grizzlies. But instead, because obviously they couldn't pay everybody, so instead of going out and getting somebody else, you go out and get a guy who is injury prone. You get out and get a guy who should really just be off the bench and, an extra guy for like the crowd to cheer for. And, he can win you some games, but you can't depend on him to run that second, the team off the bench, because if you're depending on him and his injuries, he barely played last year because of the Knicks situation, what's going on, you're really putting yourself in a tough situation. It's not fair to Derrick to ask him to put all this pressure on him. I'm sure he'll tell you different, but it's just not. You can't expect that. Now look what happened. His knee is hurt already, because I guarantee you, he's trying to carry them right away quickly because of the struggle. Now when we got Marcus Smart, I was extremely happy, okay? But for some reason, and I know it's only 5 games, but you cannot, once again, we're back to, we don't have scorers but Desmond Bane. You understand? Desmond Bane is an amazing shooter. Fantastic. But he cannot be that guy. All we have is guys gunning from three. I love Aldama, but I love Jaren. But first of all, Jaren needs to get the hell away from the three-point line. Yeah, he's not a three-point shooter. He's a great player, and he could shoot threes, but he can't start with shooting threes. He's so dominant down below. Why are we shooting threes, right? Then you got guys like Roddy gunning from three. Smart is gunning from three. This doesn't work. You understand? I beg, the Grizzlies, before they picked up Bismack Biyombo, I begged them to, even on their Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now, to get a big man. Because Jaren now has to cover everything. Tillman last year, once Adams went down, that killed everything last year. And Tillman busted his ass and tried, but he's not big enough. So you're putting more pressure on Jaren now to get boards, and he's getting out of his comfort zone because now he has to play like a real big man. And he's not like that, you know? You can't do that to him. And it's not right to ask because other teams have huge guys. So you're killing Jaren down below. He's getting exhausted with that. Now that Adams is hurt this year, what are you going to do? Right? You didn't expect this year for a big man to have a knee problem. You didn't think to have a backup plan. You know, in the West, you definitely need to have guys who can help. We needed a 3. I was begging to get a 3, but no. And don't get me wrong, I like Zaire. You know, Rowdy is he's okay, you know, but these are not guys that are going to change the West. They're not going to change everything. We need scoring. Okay, now I know that they're hurt. I know Adams changes everything. I know Ja, what happened, and this is on Ja because, you know, the franchise would be a lot different if Ja was playing right now. But this is on Ja because of all the shit that he did. But even if he didn't do it, Ja's not going to change this team 100%. He's not going to make us shoot the ball. We need to go and we need to sit there and go make a move for a player. We need a small forward who can shoot. We need to start changing the way we approach the game. Sorry, I'm in the street. Not just that we need to shoot. We need to seriously stop. We need to stop going to 3-pointers for at least the first quarter. So once in a while, start establishing inside. Start going low. You got guys who can draw fouls on this team. Bane can get to the line anytime he wants. Jaren can get to the line anytime he wants. Smart knows how to draw fouls. But yet, all I see is threes. And it's not even like we're a team that can shoot threes. So, like, why the fuck are we shooting from 3? And then when we're down 8 points. I don't know if you guys remember. Back in the day when Memphis was the 8th seed and we beat the Spurs, what made us such a great team is even if we were down 15 or 18 points, we would sit there and we would get to the free throw line and come back. We would stop the clock, get to the free throw line, Conley would make his free throws. Zebo would even Gasol would make his free throws, right? We would get to the line, cut it. There's no longer doing that anymore. We're not even doing that anymore. It just doesn't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me what's going on, what the coach is doing. I have no idea. I just don't get it. So something needs to change before it's too late. Now look, you remember the Lakers last year, right? They started out awful, and all you need to do is get into the playoffs and anything can happen. So I know it's not over, 100%. But if the Grizzlies do not make a move, I don't know if it's going to be OG Anunoby. I don't know who the hell they're going to get. But if they don't make a move soon, we're going to be one of the last place teams. This is not going to cut it even if we get into the playoffs. We need to change our strategy. They need to change the way they approach the strategy of basketball. They just cannot play like, just because other teams shoot threes, we don't need to shoot threes. We like to go fast, right? We like to run the ball fast. Fine, run fast, drive the ball. Get to the line. Make it an easier shot. What are you doing? Why are we trying to play like Golden State? Golden State is a completely different team. It doesn't make any sense for what's happening. And getting Marcus Smart, getting stuff, I would have thought this was going to be a better way. And Smart just looks lost right now because he looks like he's trying to be the guy, and he can't be the guy. Smart's not a takeover scorer. Smart is a great defensive player. He knows that he'll get timely baskets, but you cannot expect him to be that guy. And when Ja comes back, you can't put it all on Ja's shoulders. 2 moves need to be made, okay? Right now, I know it's tough because Kennard is just like completely off. I don't know what the hell's happening to him because this is the best shooter in last year, and he just looks totally off. But besides that, like, you need to get yourself another guy who can shoot, a 3 guy. Trade Roddy, trade a couple of your players, get rid of LaRavia. I cannot watch Jake LaRavia anymore. That guy is he can't shoot. Once in a while he'll get a couple of threes. Get rid of LaRavia. You trade LaRavia and you trade Roddy, or even this, you could trade Zaire, because Zaire's going to be a really good ball player, and you could trade Zaire for somebody, but you need to make a move. Memphis right now is built to win, right? They have good players. You build around Ja, you build around Jaren, you build around Marcus Smart. Don't waste this time. Do not waste it. This is what needs to happen. They need to make the move, and they need to make the move quick. They cannot be cheap in this situation. But if we're going to continue with LaRavia, we're going to continue with David Roddy, and we're going to expect those guys to be the main guys to score, then all the pressure is going to be on Bane and Jaren, and it's going to be over for us. And it's a shame because we were really close a couple of times. Let me know what you guys think. Bye.